I was scouted for Leeds when I was 6. I made my debut at 17. 1 minute you're a little kid just playing football, and next thing you know, you're on a big stage with cameras and all sorts. If you want to go far, you've just got to be 100% committed. Dedication's the biggest thing.
It's brilliant! Genius from Lewis Cook!
There's a Lewis Cook that plays football, and there's a Lewis Cook that off the pitch is, honestly, it's completely different. You're shaking the opposition's hands and the referee's hands. I'm saying good luck, all the best, like good luck, all the best. 2 minutes down the line, I'm screaming at his face. It's a roller coaster. So many ups and downs. Like 1 minute you'd be here, and then 2 minutes later you'd be rock at bottom.
Did that hit you harder? Was there any point where you thought my fucking career's done here?
I never really thought about becoming a footballer. I just loved playing football, like I was obsessed with it. I had a period in my career where I would just be obsessed with everything. I would overthink everything. Obviously you've got to eat right and do all this stuff, which I do, but it was like I would be obsessive with it, and it was probably too much. Felt like I was a robot.
Can you succeed at anything in life without being obsessive?
It's hard, man. I've got a lot better at it, but I still get butterflies before a game. Take a deep breath. If I didn't have a little bit of nerves before a game, I think there'd be something wrong. I think it helps you maintain your level and makes you concentrate, you know. You have the pressure and then it pays off and it's like high, and then we crash because of all the adrenaline and stuff. Yeah, it's part and part of football, and pressure makes diamonds.
Playing for England is every young footballer's dream, right? But how do you make it a reality? Mr. Lewis Cook, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm in now. We're in now.
Are we in?
We're in the Matrix. We're in the Matrix. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Obviously, season's finished now. Got a few days. Got to squeeze this in with you, so.
Appreciate you, mate. I know after the season, we were just saying off air that last thing you wanted me nagging you to come on and do an interview or a podcast.
Yeah, obviously, the 200 emails you've sent me to get me on. Finally here. Nah, obviously we spoke about it a few months ago, and yeah, like I say, just happy to be able to squeeze it in, because, like you say, we have a long season, and it's
what a season, by the way. Good
season, yeah. I think if you look at it as a whole, unreal. Like obviously new ownership and all that. I don't want to come across as like an interview now, but new ownership project.
Is your media training coming in
yeah.
now? Go on.
Yeah, new training ground, new ownership, new players coming in, highest points tally. I think lads have done great. So overall, for me personally, played a lot of games this year, and I always feel blessed to do so. So yeah.
Yeah, we were chatting off air, weren't you? You played a lot of games, and you played in a lot of different positions as well.
Yeah. So all my life, since I was a little kid, apart from my first ever game when I was a child, I played in net for the first game.
In net, in goal?
Yeah, I was like 6.
Okay, fine. All right, I'll let you off.
Yeah, I conceded like 4 or 5 goals, came out field and probably scored 4 or 5. But yeah, I've always played centre mid, right in the middle of the pitch. Every time I played netball, basketball, netball, hockey, I was always central, bang in the middle of the pitch. And this year, for the first time, I played right back, centre back. Yeah, centre back in a 2, centre back in a 3. Yeah, it's great because it's just something different, you know.
Which do you prefer, do you reckon? You still like?
Yeah, centre mid, definitely. I said to a few of the staff members, it's a bit of a problem if I'm playing centre back and I'm playing better than when I played my actual position. But no, I just think there's no pressure when you play right back or centre back, something different, you know, because it's not like, oh, he has to have a good game, because probably have a little bit of a excuse, I would say.
Yeah, it's not your normal.
And when you played somewhere your whole life, you get an opportunity to do something different. It's quite exciting, you know. You see the game completely different, especially at centre back. But yeah, some of the players you come up against, I do feel for the back four sometimes. Yeah, because like the last game against Chelsea, I went right back and they just make a sub, so that Nkuku came on and he's sharp, real sharp. And I kind of looked at him, I was like, all right, come on, let's see what happens.
Let's dance.
Yeah, I done all right, to be fair, I think.
Fair play, mate. I've only ever played one game in my life, that charity game, remember?
Yeah, I didn't go, but I commented on your photo. How did that go?
It was good. I as you know, I'm not mad like into football. I haven't played football growing up, so we were in the changing rooms, and Tommy Killick was the manager.
Okay.
And he was like, got the board up. He was helping us who's going to play where, sort of thing. He was like, right, Ty, where'd you play? And I was like, well, I don't play. I've never played. He's like, you've never played? I said, no. He said, well, what can you do? I said, well, I can run all day long. I'm a big lad, that sort of thing. He was like, what footed are you? I said, right. He said, all right, you're going to be at the back on the right. That's how he talks to me, like real dumb down. Didn't even tell me the position yet. He said, I want you to stay at the back on the right. I said, okay. He said, and I just want you to run up and down, take anyone out that comes near you with the ball. And when you get the ball, he said, just shoot up front.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, deal.
You
So I
did that.
spent I think I played 80 minutes. Must have run nearly 9K. Well, I'm shit, right? I'm not in the right position. So I'm just running up and down. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've only got one kick, and that's like toe punt.
Is it?
So it kind of worked.
No crosses.
A few. I did all right, actually. I was surprised. And I really enjoyed it, which is the part that surprised me.
You should do it again.
Yeah, it just went. I got a friend's testimony I was telling you about.
Okay.
And he said he might let me on the pitch for 5-10 minutes for that.
Maybe try a different position.
Yeah, I
See
don't
if
know.
it's a striker or something.
They put me up front for 5 minutes. I had to switch with someone because someone got injured. And it completely threw me off.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, and I was on the left-hand side. And I can't really touch the ball with both feet. So I was like, fuck, I need to turn my body this way to be able to shoot it towards the goal.
You'll have to let me know when you next play. I'll come watch.
Come, maybe you can play.
Nah, I don't do that. I get too scared. When I was younger and my friends used to go to like five-a-side, like goals, I used to go and watch them, and I'm thinking, if I really want to play. But I think if I ever did that, I could potentially get injured in that. So
It's your career, isn't it?
yeah.
Slightly different when it becomes work. Right, mate, let's roll it back. As with all the guests, we start from like the early years and work our way back just to really understand who you are. So what was childhood like for you? Like, where did you grow up?
Me,
North.
up north. Yeah. So born in York. You ever been to York?
I went on a school trip, I think. Isn't there like
From where?
from here?
Well, that's a long bus journey.
Yeah, there was a...
Jorvik Museum?
Yes.
Was it? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I was just going to say it was like a museum or something.
Yeah,
Very young.
yeah,
I
it's
must
cool
have been
there. Yeah, I've been
12
there
or something.
for a school trip as well. So yeah, I was born there. Then I grew up we started off in a little place called Sherburn, which was like, not too far away from York, like 10, 15 minutes. Just in a council house with my mum and dad. And then we...
Only child?
No, I have a sister as well.
Okay.
I've got two sisters and a stepbrother. So, yeah. And so, yeah, we grew up there in Sherburn to start off with. And after we stayed there for a few years and then ended up moving to a place called Saxton, which is where I probably say I just grew up. Probably about 6 or 7. And yeah, that's a little village, my little village boy. In between Leeds and York, middle of nowhere. We had no shop. We had a pub. We could buy a packet of crisps for 50p. So that's the only food you could get. And so we had a pub and a school, and that was all that was there. And yeah, fields everywhere, not much to do. I grew up with a football pitch, I would say 10 metres from my house.
Okay.
So I just used to constantly be on there with the older lads and stuff, which I think looking back really helped me play football at a higher level, I would say, kind of developed very early. So yeah, obviously I went to school there in primary school, and literally the smallest school you could think of. It was like, I think I had 11 people in my year, 60 people in the whole school.
That's actually quite good, because then you would have got a lot of attention from the teacher.
Yeah, well, we had 3 different age group, 3 years in one class.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've not heard that before.
No, it's probably not the best thing, but I think now it's got a lot better. So, yeah, but I love growing up there. I think it's such an easy way of life. Obviously, going to London and places now, you see how busy it is. But yeah, I'm just kind of like a village boy with just playing football, exploring, climbing trees, not doing much really.
Old school, mate.
Yeah.
I like that. The climbing, we were just talking about that, weren't we? Kind of our age growing up, you're always told to go and play outside, weren't you? You get home from school, drop your bag off, and go and climb a tree or, I don't know, sit on the side of the pavement. Yeah,
but I think at the time there was, in the village I grew up in, there was, I would say, 15 or 20 kids maybe, and we would just always be playing football. On the grass outside my house, it started off, it was just grass, sticks were the goals. Came back from school one day and there was proper 3/4 nets in the ground, and that was like one of the best days of my life, I think, for everyone. So yeah, we were just constantly on there and stuff.
Who would have put them up then? The council, do you reckon? Or do all the families get together and put
No, it would have been the council, yeah. So someone probably just got in touch with them. I don't know who, but forever grateful for that, to be honest.
That's mad. And what were you like at school, bro?
School, I was always... Yeah, I was good at school, did all right. I wasn't the most intelligent, but I got decent grades.
Naughty or not really?
I wouldn't say naughty. I was always the one who would try and make the class laugh. Not the class clown, but I would always be a bit of like 100-mile-an-hour kid running around all the time. Obviously, always had a little bit of not a temper problem, but sports and stuff, I do get a little bit angry. So in primary school, I remember getting sent in once.
It's an exclusive. Here we go.
I might have said it before, I don't know. But Mr. Gallen Collins at the time was my school teacher, and we had like a sports day. And I think one of our relay races broke down or something. I don't know what happened. And I must have said something. And I've got sent in. And he's come into the room. And I'm just there snapping pencils. So, yeah, bit of a strange kid at times. But overall, yeah, I worked hard when I needed to and got the grades.
That temper thing, do you reckon that's like competitiveness as well, isn't it?
That's what it is, yeah.
More than...
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say, or was it temper as in?
So now at football, as I'm older now, but if you speak to any of the lads or staff members, they'll say there's a Lewis Cook that plays football, and there's a Lewis Cook that off the pitch is honestly, it's completely different. Don't really like confrontation, but I might like mumble something while I'm running off at someone or something. But if someone comes to me, I'm like, nah, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, see, I can't see that side of you because my relationship with you is more on a friendly level than on a football level, right?
Yeah.
And you don't come across as someone that would have a hot head or, well, I guess the competitive thing I can see because you're playing very high level football. So you kind of would need that edge, wouldn't you? Yeah,
but there's one thing doing it at high level football and there's another thing doing it when you're 6 years old at sports day. So it's always been the same. Yeah, when I first started playing at an actual club, it was every few months it would be you have an assessment where you're at as a player, and it would always be, we're very happy with Lewis. He's doing really well technically and tactically and everything, but he just needs to stop shouting at referees. So that's just
I fucking love that.
And they've got such a hard job, and I'm just always pressing them. So I think I just want to win. That's the main thing. So
I always think of that, like when we're that age, we don't see teachers, referees, anyone with authority as a real human, do we?
No.
We just think they're like this thing put on the earth.
Yeah.
It's only when you get older now you realise they've got patience of a saint.
Yeah, crazy.
What a tough job.
I said to someone the other day, like when we're lining up from a Premier League game and you're shaking the opposition's hands and the referee's hands, I'm saying good luck, all the best. Like good luck, all the best. 2 minutes down the line, I'm screaming at his face, and I'm just like, sometimes I just got to apologise to him, thinking I can't be doing that, because they've got a tough job, to be fair.
Did you ever end up in trouble at school, like from that temper? Not from a sports perspective, more from like a scrapping or?
No, I never had a fight.
No, okay.
Obviously.
So generally a good lad at school.
Yeah. I've had to, it was just like when I used to play for the school football team, sometimes I think it was once or twice I had to get taken off for like a 5-minute cool down. But it's like when you play the schools, it's like anything goes. You just want to win against a different school. So
also such a tough period of life, isn't it, being at school?
Yeah, you're trying to find yourself. We did our coaching badges at the moment, and it was a player development and different ages. And I think when you're at school, you go for a big change, and you're trying to find yourself. A lot of stuff happening in your body and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say I've consistently been a little bit hot-headed.
Yeah, the fitting in piece is a big one I always found at school. Like, you don't know where you belong, do you?
No.
You don't know where you belong. And I think, if you've discovered something quite young that you enjoy, like you discovered football really young, I think 6 years old is young, isn't it? I guess you can kind of home all your energy into that, right?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I feel like when I mentioned the first game I played, I think my parents bought me some cheap football boots because they didn't know if I was going to like it. And if I'm honest, the first game I didn't really enjoy it. And then when I came outfield, I was obsessed, I never thought about, I know it sounds really strange, but I never really thought about becoming a footballer. I just loved playing football, like was obsessed with it. And then it just kind of all gradually got better and better and kind of happened. So
was there a point, if you look back now, where you think, fuck, I'm actually quite good at this, I could have a career? Is there a pinnacle point like that? I know it's quite a cringy thing to think about, but
as in when I was quite young?
Yeah, like, whether you're 6, 15, 18, 20, where you were like, was there that one moment that sticks in your head where you're thinking, fuck, I could actually make a career of this?
I think when you're obviously trying to get a professional contract, like a scholarship and stuff. And there's a point when you can play for England. I played in the Victory Shield when I think it was 16, which is like the first England camp for that age. And I think once I went there, I realised, I mean, there's not many players that have played in the Victory Shield, so I thought I must be doing quite well. But then again, I was just loving training, just loving playing, and I didn't really put too much pressure on myself to become where I am now. But it just kind of happened. So I'm very lucky to have something I really enjoy and thankfully I'm good at as well.
It feels very authentic, like where you just enjoy something, you do it because you enjoy it, and you end up winning. Like you speak to anyone that has any success, whether that's in business or sport or music, it always starts off with something they just enjoy doing, right? Without the pressure of you've got to perform.
Yeah, I think that was for my family as well. They never really put too much pressure on me at all. Say if I had a bad game or a good game, they would just always be level-headed,
Yeah.
And I think in football, you need a bit of luck, and I definitely had a bit of luck in my career to get where I am now. A lot of hard work and dedication and stuff, because you have to when you get to a certain age, but luck is very part of it as well. So I feel like I had that.
I believe that. And was there anything else, bro, as you were growing up that you thought that you also liked, beside football? Anything else you were into that you might have gone down, whether it's school, certain subject, or was it always just sport, really?
It was just sport, really. I liked IT. I think that was, at the time, gaming was big. That was a big pressure, I would say, because you can kind of get obsessed with stuff like that, and it can have a bad effect on you. So kind of had to make a decision if I want to sit in my room, play my games all day, or play football. So yeah, I think overall it was just sport. I liked every sport going. Literally anything you think of, I probably tried it, and some good, some not so good. I'm not very good at golf, which I need to try and improve on, because that's a big thing in football. When you finish, everyone wants to play golf, but
yeah.
Terrible.
Are you?
Yeah, so bad. But no, I think football it's been my main sport. And
I feel like golf, you need a lot of patience, don't you?
Yeah, I'm actually all right. So if I do something bad in football, as in I give the ball away, I'm a worse critic. I'll be frustrated at myself for doing the littlest thing wrong, a bit obsessive. Whereas golf, if I shank a shot, there's no pressure really. I can still keep trying to improve. So, do you know what I mean?
I've not played a proper game of golf. I've been to like a driving range,
Yeah.
bit of pitch and putt growing up.
So what's your sport then?
Mate, I think about this always, and there's a bit of a void in my life because I never really had a sport growing up.
No.
Never really played sport. Like, I think about it. Don't get me wrong, we would be out on the street and there was a wall we'd kick a ball against now and then, but I was more there for the social element than kicking the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just never really that into it. I was never that into computer games either. Like, I wasn't sat on my PlayStation like everyone else.
Yeah.
I try and think now when I was around that age, what was my thing? But it was like...
But we're just out.
Out and probably people still.
Yeah.
I didn't realise at the time, but if I look back now, I'd rather go to the park and chill with people, but not necessarily do anything.
That's fine.
Climb trees. Yeah, I was like a bit of a Mowgli, I guess, just floating around. But I think, like as we were saying earlier, that's probably one of the reasons why, as I've got into fitness later in life, I'm probably getting more pain and more injuries than other people because I don't really have that foundation of strength and ability. You know, everything's relatively new. Like I only started running in 2020. First 5K was in. Yeah, I love it now, but I can't run without pain. I was just saying to you, I got, everything hurts, and I don't know whether that's because physiologically I'm not designed to be good at running. I don't know if that's a thing. I've been reading loads of stuff on it, or just the fact that my muscles aren't used to it, and I'm going 0 to 100.
Yeah,
like there's no like.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say you're going 0 to 100 now, but I mean, like long term, maybe if you had that as a kid, might have been a bit different. Muscle memory and all that.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
You're just getting on now, I think.
Just turned 36, yeah.
Really?
Fucking game over. How old are you now?
27.
Fuck off.
I look older though. The cameras, these 4K cameras, aren't going to do me any.
Nah, you look all right, mate. Strong hairline. You look all right. 27?
Yeah.
Sick,
February.
Mate. Do you know what I always find mad? You remember this as well. Your parents would have been like, make the most of it. Life goes with a blink of an eye, and all this shit. And you sort of spend your younger years wishing you're older, don't you?
Yeah.
Like as a lad as well, when you're like 14, you want to say you're 18, you want to go out, you want the beard before it's grown, all that kind of shit. And then as you get older, not now because it's fashionable, but as you get older, then you're shaving the beard off because you want to look younger.
Yeah.
And then and it's sort of like, sounds a bit cliche, and I'm only 36, but I feel like the last decade has gone with a blink of an eye.
100%.
Even for you, think like 27.
It's crazy. Like I made my debut at 17, and it feels like it was last week. Seasons just kind of roll into one. Like it's just crazy football in that respect. And 1 minute you're a little kid just playing football, and next thing you know, you're on a big stage with cameras and all sorts. But I think that's a good thing to say. I would say when I was 17 playing football, I didn't really think about too much. As in, I didn't put too much pressure, I was just playing football. Whereas I had a period in my career where I would just be obsessed with everything. I would overthink everything. Obviously, you've got to eat right and do all this stuff, which I do. But it was like I would be obsessive with it, and it was probably too much. Felt like I was a robot. Where in the last few years now, kind of just took the shackles off a little bit and just tried to go back to just playing football.
I mean, playing devil's advocate, can you succeed at anything in life without being obsessive?
I don't think so. I think you have to, if you want to go far, you've got to be 100% committed. Dedication is the biggest thing, especially like for me in football. You get when you're 16, 17, there's all sorts going on. You've got a decision to make then where you either miss the parties, miss all that stuff, which a lot of kids fail at. So that's a tough part.
Most of the people that probably watch football are into football or any sport, in fact, and may have an envious side of why they can't do what you do or others do. They forget how much sacrifice you guys put into it. Do you know what I mean? Like when I chat to Billum, as you know, like the guy's been teetotal for 9 years or whatever it is. Like that's a lot of sacrifice. Same for you. You start playing football so young.
Yeah.
So then there comes a period. You're right, and I've had this conversation with others as well. You don't go to that party. You don't socialise. You don't go past that. You don't smoke that cigarette. You don't drink that drink necessarily. But these are the 20 to 30s that you're going through now that most people spend kind of living that lifestyle. Yeah,
and obviously it's a sacrifice, but obviously the benefits at the end of it are amazing. You get to do what you love. It's one of them jobs where you enjoy your job, and obviously some people find that hard to find. So. And obviously all the fruits that come with it, the being able to look after your family and stuff for a long time and things is another benefit. So when you look back on it, the sacrifice doesn't seem big, but at the time, that party might have been fun. But no, like I say,
no, I think you got to. You can't. There's nothing you can take in life. You're always paying a price, right? I think Jordan Peterson said you always have to pay a price. Whether you do the thing or don't do the thing, there's a price. Don't do the thing, there's a price paid. Do you know what I mean? For you guys, you're just giving your time in exchange for this now.
Yeah, you're definitely right saying that. And sometimes I find it hard saying that it's a sacrifice because the amount of people that would love to be in the position I'm in I feel very lucky and very fortunate, I would say. But yeah, like you say, sacrifice is a part of it, and I think it's part of life, to be honest. You've got to make them to succeed, definitely.
I suppose it's relative, isn't it? You're right. There's always going to be someone worse off or someone that would love to be in most people's shoes, especially us guys that live in the West, kind of live in the UK. Do you know what I mean? No matter what we're moaning about, we're still eating. Yeah, we're still sleeping. There's no threat to life. So it's a tough one.
You say that, and that's kind of like being grateful for what you've got. I think if anything never goes bad with football, obviously we'll probably touch on it, but I look back to where I was injury-wise and stuff, and just feel so fortunate to be playing football anyway. So, and then you can go deeper and think about other people in the world that are struggling and stuff. So
yeah. It's hard, mate. It's hard. Bro, what relationship with your parents when you were growing up? What was that like?
Yeah, good. So my mum has remarried since my dad. So I've got a stepfather as well. But
do you remember the breakup? How old were you when they?
I don't even know.
Okay, fine.
I think I was 6, 7. I don't even know.
Okay.
But
has it had an effect on you? Is what I was trying to work out?
No. Everyone's great. I've got lots of people in my life that are great and love me, and I love them. No, they're fine. They obviously both, my dad and my mum, used to have to take me. They have to make the sacrifice as well. Take me to football all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about it like that, especially if you've got some parents that have got sons or daughters that play football, the sacrifice they have to make, the driving, the countless hours, the waiting, the games. But no, they were great. Anytime I needed to go somewhere, I needed a new pair of boots, they would figure out a way to get me them. But yeah, my relationship with them was really good. Obviously, my grandparents as well, and I feel very lucky to have the people in my life, to be honest.
Yeah, that is good. It's nice to hear that, actually, from that sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That the fact that the family unit has still been able to work, even though they've...
It's definitely a normal family. It's very, not dysfunctional, but all families are strange.
Yeah, of course.
There's so much stuff going on.
We're all a bit weird, yeah.
But no, like I say, I'm so lucky to have them all in my life, to be honest, and my siblings as well that had to sit in a car and wait for me to finish training, you know. So yeah, it's
I hope you've repaid them one way or another.
Yeah, I think they're all right. Yeah,
Did they ever want you to do something else? Were they ever like, no, don't do football, do X? You know, parents are always like.
No, they were always, when I started becoming like a scholar, before I was a scholar, when I was still at school and I was training still, they made sure, well, Leeds at the time made sure I got my grades, because I had to miss like a couple of days a week at school, so I had to have like tutors and stuff, which my parents made sure I got my grades, to be honest. I didn't do unbelievable, but I didn't fail anything, so that was probably one of my proudest moments, actually, I think.
What?
You know when you get your sheet of your GCSEs? And my teacher at the time came up to me and was like, I thought you could have done better, but you haven't failed anything. So that means minimums of C's, and I was delighted, to be honest. Because that was hard to balance, you know.
That is good, yeah. But at the time, it's another one of them moments, right, that you've got to look back on. Because at the time, how fucking annoying with GCSEs.
I know, especially with football, because you've got to try and balance it all, and revision and all that.
I suppose for you it was a bit different, because for me, what I remember it as is if you don't get good grades, like life is over.
Yeah.
You know, like that was the general feeling you were told by the teachers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This will set you up for your whole life. But obviously, I guess in your position, you kind of already knew you had this career path bubbling away at that age. So it must be really difficult then to actually give a shit about that.
Yeah, I think that's where your parents come in, how you're brought up. They were big on it, to be honest, saying that you can't go training if your grades aren't on point, which I don't know if they were bluffing or not, but
sounds like Coach Carter.
Yeah. It's a great film.
It is a great film.
But yeah, so they pushed that, and also the people at Leeds, the staff there were very insistent on that as well. So that was a big part of growing up.
Yeah, mad. I mean, it sounds like you had kind of quite humble beginnings as well, right?
Yeah, we didn't really come from much. Obviously, like we say, we were in council houses growing up and things. And the village I was in, there was a council side and a nice side.
Okay.
But it was a great place to grow up. I loved it. So yeah, we like I say, my parents always made sure if I needed something, they'd be able to get me it, and they worked hard as well.
Does it feel good now? Do you think, like, obviously knowing that they would do whatever they could to get you that first pair of boots, that you might be in a position now that you can kind of give back to them, and or you've quote unquote made it, like you've made them proud. Does that feel nice? Yeah,
I think obviously if you're able to retire your parents or set them up for their life, that was a big achievement for me, and I think a lot of people try and do that. They always make sure the family's sorted first, and if they are, it's a big bonus, because you've got to look after your family, aren't you? Make sure your parents are sorted and healthy and all that. So
yeah, I think that's incredible. It's definitely something that's kind of always been on my mind from a young age as well. Like I always used to think like the first time I could do something back, I would do something back, because similar to you, you know, all the sacrifice all of our parents make to bring us up. You've recently become a father yourself, right? Well, not I say recent, a year now. Has it been a year?
Yeah, it's 15 months. Yeah,
15 months.
14.
Yeah, fucking, that's gone by as well.
It's crazy.
That's flown by.
That has gone the quickest, definitely.
Shit. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't even think it was a year yet, but yeah. So you probably now, has that shifted your mentality a bit? Do you kind of get things that you might not get your parents to do when you were younger now a little bit, or is he probably still a bit too young to? Well,
my mum always was like, when I was younger, and say if I had a disagreement with her or something, it was, you'll wait till you have kids, and you were just like, oh, whatever. I don't know what you're on about, but now I do see it. So thank you for explaining that to me, Mum. But it's hard. It's amazing. It's the best thing that's probably ever happened to me, little Oscar. But it's tough, you know. The sleep changes straight away, but it's all worth it, you know. You get a different aspect on life, bit outlook. Everything you do is for them. So
I was going to say, has it changed? Do you feel like it's changed your priorities a little bit?
it's definitely In sport, I mentioned my priorities changed when I had a few injuries and I didn't play for a long period of time. When I was playing football, I was always very grateful for back playing. Whereas now with Oscar, it's everything I'm doing now is for him. So it's like an extra motivation. You don't need motivation to play at the level I'm at because it's the Premier League.
Yeah.
But it's just an added little bit of bite, you know, for him. But it's always good just to go home after a loss or something, and it's just there, you know.
Yeah, I get it. I always wonder with like, you know, there's that whole thing of kind of, I don't know if you've ever seen that meme where it says like, I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try and go for it anyway. It's like,
do it.
Tough times create hard men, hard times create good times, or easy times create soft men create hard times. And it's like a cyclical thing.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason I say that is because like, I think of my old man, he lived an extremely tough life in Turkey during when Turkey and, Turks and Kurds were constantly killing each other, very, very tough life upbringing, moved to England for me to have a better life at 2 years old. I've grown up 1,000% better than him, but still maybe not as good as my counterparts that were born here and grew up. But then I always think when I have kids, each generation is naturally getting a bit softer because life's getting easier, right? So my kids, when they come along, my mum and dad walk to school. I might have got the bus and they might be fucking dropped off and whatever. Do you understand what I mean? And then, so I always wonder, like when I have kids, how do I ensure that they can grow up with some challenges and grow up humble and grow up nice and not grow up as a little shit just because they got loads of dough?
Yeah.
Do you ever think of that for yourself? Because the way you've grown up, like obviously Oscar's going to grow up, a lot more comfortable, let's say. But how do you as a parent try and think, right, what can I do to make sure that he doesn't grow up as a spoiled brat? Yeah. And that you try and keep his feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's quite tough, isn't it?
I think first of all, I've realised as a parent, you don't know if you're doing it right. Like you have all these ideas before it comes around, and then it comes and you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. You try and just do what you think's best, and manners is going to be the most important one for me. I feel like just manners. Like I think if I say after a game, there's loads of kids there, and I'm signing stuff. I think if one child doesn't say like thank you or please, I think if that was Oscar, I'd be so frustrated with him, you know. But yeah, I just want a good, well-mannered boy and someone who's just got a good work ethic. He's polite to people, he treats people right, and works hard. But like I say, it's hard because at the moment he can't communicate. He can communicate, but he can't really communicate. So I can't explain to him why he needs to do something. He'd just be screaming or something like that, throwing his food on the floor, and it's all part of it. It's I'm learning as well, and I think hopefully he can be a good boy.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be, mate. Sure he will be. And would you put him towards football? What do you reckon?
So before he came, I was like, I don't think I'll let him do what he wants. You know, like no pressure. He can do what he wants. We'll figure it out. And then now he's got like footballs everywhere, goals. I'm like trying to get him to do passes and stuff. Uses the weak foot. So maybe, you never know.
I was just thinking about when you said earlier how competitive you are. I thought, I bet in a minute he'll be in full kit, like doing drills every morning as soon as he can kind of properly run and play.
Yeah, I think he's obviously got a few kits, which is nice to put on. But yeah, I'm not going to put too much pressure on him, definitely. I feel like I've played with players in the past where their parents can be really pushy, and it's not nice, is it? You don't want to make your child feel like they have to do something. So
it also can turn them off a little bit, can't it, of what they're doing? Yeah,
they can probably go the other way, you know, get scared or rebellious, maybe.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate. My parents were always kind of like, do what makes you happy and we'll support. Like, I think that's quite rare for parents, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't matter which sport I wanted or what I wanted to do. And I did do a load of shit growing up. Like I was a kid that would try stuff and was annoyingly good very quickly, but would got bored very, very quickly.
Okay.
Like real short attention span. So growing up, I did mess about with football, tennis. I did piano, drums, guitar. Like, because my parents, I think, where they had nothing growing up, they were like, why don't we give him opportunity to try anything he wants? But obviously, you get to a certain age, don't you, where it's no longer cool.
Yeah.
Like I did karate as well growing up. But the moment you get to like 13, 14, 15.
That's cool though, karate.
I don't know if it was. Like now I feel like mixed martial arts got much cooler,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because of UFC, etc. Like I'm a fully grown adult now rolling about on the floor with other men.
Yeah.
Like at the time, it didn't feel that cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not even boxing felt that cool for me in that era. Just none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you just stop, don't you? Because you go to school, you're trying to like chat a bird up or something, and your mates are saying, "What are you doing this weekend?" "Oh, I'm going to karate." "No, you're not. We're going to the park." "Oh yeah, okay, I'm coming to the park."
Okay.
So it kind of just takes that. Especially for me, I was always about like, how do I fit in? I want to be picked for the football team. Don't want to be the last kid. I want to hang around with the cool kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just a bit lost, I think, when I was young, from music to sport to skateboarding to, being a shit and throwing stones at a greenhouse. Just kind of whoever I was with, I'd try and mold into them to fit in.
Yeah, I think that's part of growing up. My sister, I think she's done absolutely everything, ballet, all sorts. And yeah, she got to a point when she didn't really want to do anything else anymore, and just next thing you know, you're at work, and it's probably hard for people to get out of that cycle of the 9 to 5s and stuff, and find a hobby, to be honest. But yeah, it's finding yourself, I think, and you obviously tried a lot of stuff, and look where you are now. You've found yourself.
Well, I don't know.
What are we doing?
Still a bit lost, aren't I? Like, I don't know which way I'm going. One day I'm a runner, next day I'm a podcaster, next day I'm a business person.
I mean, you're always doing stuff to help people, so that's probably a credit to you.
Yeah.
You love doing stuff like that. You're always doing random marathons, Ironmans, or whatever it is, swimming in the sea, like miles.
I always wonder with that shit whether it's me trying to do fitness or me trying to numb my brain. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, most people would go out and just get pissed. And I'm like, right, what can I do to quieten the noise down in my head? I know what I'll do. I'll just fucking run for hours.
Well, it's always nice if you can help people and you do that. So don't you with your
I think so.
fundraising.
I think so. And I only asked that thing about Oscar because I feel like with you embody that manners piece, mate. Like you and Loretta, both of you, extremely kind, extremely nice, extremely polite to everyone. Don't feel that you're much affected by kind of, I guess, the status, the financial rewards, the how you could be, let's say, especially at 27. If you look at other industries where people are 27 and maybe having a similar sort of lifestyle if they wanted it, they go very differently, right? If you look at a rapper that's 27, with the similar income, let's say.
I get that. Obviously, I'm still learning, and obviously sometimes I'll have lapses where I do. But you say about a rapper at 27, but he's probably living in London or somewhere. He's not living in not Bournemouth's an amazing place, but it's quite a simple life as well. I go to a coffee shop, I go to work, come back, walk the dogs at the beach. It's lovely, amazing. It's quite a simple life, so you don't really. There's not as many opportunities to get yourself mixed up in wrong stuff. So,
do you like that?
Yeah, where I'm from, like literally, I lived in the middle of nowhere. There was just fields coming like this, and there's a little village in the middle. It used to always flood because the valley doing that. Kind of the valley, yeah. But people there are amazing. So yeah, I think that's just transferred to where I am now. Whereas I'm living in Bournemouth, and I feel like it's a great place to bring kids up. Simple way of life, and yeah,
that would explain probably why you actually. Now I've looked back to what you said. You're quite in with community, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, they don't only mean this in a manner that we go to the same coffee shop every morning and there's probably 10 other players from your team that come to that coffee shop, but most of them just keep their head down, they keep themselves to themselves, they come in, they take their coffee and they go. But like with you see someone twice and you say hello because it's like the normal thing to do in a community, isn't it? But it's quite a village thing as well. So I moved to Swanage when I was 10 from London, and then I lived in Swanage 10 till, say, like, as soon as I could drive, I started coming to Bournemouth because there's nothing to do there. But my formative years were there, 10 to 20, let's say. And that's 11,000 people in a small town. And you say fucking hello to everyone, right? Yeah. You recognise it's so-and-so's daughter, it's someone's walking a dog. So I'm the guy, my missus will always go mad because if I'm walking down the street, I say hello to everyone.
Yeah.
Even if I'm like, just a good morning, to the neighbour.
Everyone's just so nice though. Like when I was younger, I grew up, I got a house there. We still got it now, and I came down here, and my walls fell apart. Came back 2 months later, the wall's fixed. Someone down the road had fixed it. I didn't even ask him.
You're joking?
Yeah, and he was just like, "Oh, just put me a few, get some pints behind the bar, and let's call it that." And I'm like, "That's just incredible,
I love that.
you know."
I do rate that. Hi guys, while I've got you, I wanted to announce an exciting new sponsor for the show. For those that know me or listen regularly, you'll know that I'm a big combat sports fan, and some of my favourite kit to use when training is by a brand called Venom. Fellow combat sports fans will know Venom as the UFC's official outfitting apparel partner. They have clothing and equipment for MMA, boxing, Muay Thai and BJJ. However, what I'm most excited about is their new lifestyle range, some of which I'll be rocking on the show. It's a privilege to partner with a global brand such as Venom. Will it make me a better athlete? Probably not, but at least I'll look good doing it. Mate, if we go on to football career, I got here that you're playing for the under-18s Leeds United team at 15 years old.
Yeah.
What was that like at a young age?
I remember, I don't know if it was that or it was the reserve game. I think I might have been like 15 or 16 playing for the reserve, so that's men's. Yeah. So that game you're talking about, I think it was TNS, it was called, somewhere near Wales. And there was 2 buses, I'll never forget. There was 2 buses at Thorpe Arch, the training ground. I think one was the 18s and one was the 21s. So I don't know which age group it was. But I walked onto the 18s bus and he was like, "Oh no, you're going with the 21s." I was like, "Oh my God," like hearts stuff. And yeah, I played that game and scored a goal in that game, and it was crazy. And I'll never forget, I think the following year maybe, I played in the reserves. So at the time it was 18s, 21s reserves, which was like all the first team players that aren't playing. And we played Scarborough away or Bridlington. And it was just like I was playing pure, fully grown men. And this one guy was like, "Oh, you're too young to be playing this game." And then the next time he got the ball, I just absolutely nailed him. And he was...
There comes the anger.
And I must have said something to him. And I was only like 16 at the time. But I think going back to where I grew up, that it probably helped me playing in like the village environment, because there was people like 5-6 years older than me I'd be playing against. So that kind of probably helped me progress as at that stage in my career. Yeah, but it was amazing. At the time I was really nervous, but looking back, it was cool.
Were you quite a small 16-year-old as well? Like compared to a 21-year-old guy?
Oh, at the time, yeah. I would say for my age group, I definitely developed probably on the quicker side than everyone else. Like I had the tash that was darker hair than the blonde first, and I was always quite chubby, not chubby, but stocky.
Yeah.
So that's like, say, in football, you need a bit of luck, and it can help you to get to professional if you, at the time when people are getting contracts, scholarships, if you're more developed, and do you know what I mean?
But I think I was chatting to Ads about this a little while back, but he said we were talking about how kids are starting so young now, like younger than he did. What's your thoughts on that? Is that good? Is that bad? Are we taking away their childhood? Do they need a little bit of a childhood? I don't mean like the way you played, because you played out. I meant like as in, but I was in the academy really young now. Yeah,
they are crazy now. I was scouted for Leeds when I was 6.
It's no age, is it?
No, so
I can't even remember being 6.
And you can't sign until you're 9. So I had like 3 years of just like, it was a Leeds academy, pre-academy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's 6 years old.
6 years old, man. I don't know if I can wipe my arse at 6. I can't even remember.
I do now.
I'm too big now.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Is it too young?
I don't know. The way the game's going, and you've got to let them be kids. But I think at that, just as long as from 6 onwards, they're just playing football, a lot of football. They're not getting
caught up in
pressures and stuff like to improve all the time. You just got to like get the reps out. To be honest, I think as a young kid. But
I just think like with, again, I'm keep comparing it to music only because that's the industry that I know about. But like if you think of, say, someone like a Justin Bieber, right? He's so young when he had that fame, and it's, evidently you can see now it's affecting a bit from that age. And I wonder whether you're right. I guess if they're just playing football, that's fine. But if they're exposed to like the politics of it and the contractual stuff and all that kind of the fame that young, it probably would affect them as they get older, right?
Yeah, especially with social media now. I feel like if you're even like a 10, 11-year-old, if you've got a TikTok account and your games are getting recorded, like they start uploading stuff to TikTok because they want to be cool, and then that's the pressure. Whereas when I was younger, it was just literally you go play football and you just don't stop playing football until you get somewhere.
Yeah, mad, mate. Mad. And then 2014, 2015 preseason, you made your team debut for Leeds United, right? Stepped up, played for the first team.
Yeah. So I think that sees the preseason. So the year before that, we'd been the Euros of England.
Okay.
So that was the 17s Euros in Malta. And we won that as a team. We played really well, great players. And I think that put me in the manager's mind to go on the preseason tour.
Amazing.
Which was in Austria, I think it was. Austria. And
Austria?
Yeah. High altitude and stuff. You can't breathe, just run.
Mad.
But at the time when I got the phone call that I was going on a pre-season tour, I was in Marbella on holiday.
Oh,
no, just like with Loretta and some friends. And I remember getting the phone call and I was just so nervous straight away. Lucy Ward at the time, who was like kind of my Leeds mum, who looked after me at football, said, "Oh, you're going to go on the pre-season tour with the first team." And at the time, you know the ash cloud? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
That was delaying everything. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get back because all the flights are getting cancelled. But luckily I got on the flight. But if I didn't get on that flight, I might not have ever become a footballer. Do you know what I mean? Because then if I didn't go on that pre-season tour, I might not get an opportunity again. So luckily I got onto that pre-season tour and made my debut.
How old would you have been there?
17.
Young as well still, isn't it?
Yeah, you see some of the 17-year-olds now. Crazy. Like you've got to be ready at some point.
And is that the youngest you can get into like a first team? 17, isn't it?
No, you can be
16.
Well, you can be. I think some probably 15-year-olds have played.
Have they?
Probably, yeah. Or maybe 16, definitely.
There's got to be a. Yeah, I thought there might be like a.
Yeah. I'm not too sure.
Maybe 16 from an adult perspective.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As in.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything else in the world, you have like a minimum age, don't you?
No, at the time, like when I first was in and around the first team, you weren't allowed to shower with the first team and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You weren't supposed to have a betting sponsor on your shirt.
Really?
But you could get away with that one, I think. But so I went pre-season tour and played the pre-season games, done well, and then played the first game of the season. Yeah, well, came on Millwall away and gave a penalty away within 10 minutes. It's biggest dive ever as well. But yeah, luckily played the game after that and got man of the match in the cup. So then just played the rest of the season. It's crazy, really, thinking about it. I think the chairman at the time, the owner, I think he took a liking to me as well. So he had a big influence on me playing every game, basically. So that was my bit of luck, I would say, I had in football to get where I am now. Because if he didn't take a shine to me, I might not have played as many games as I did.
Yeah.
So
you get that in football as well, don't you? As in, like a player doesn't get on with someone higher up, and they're on the bench a lot, even though they could. I hear about it. I don't know how much obviously it goes on because I'm not in the sport.
Yeah. It's politics, isn't it? It's hard. It's like a lot of businesses as well. There's ways to get to the top, and that was my little bit of luck I had. So yeah, kind of grateful to him at the time to show in a.
Mate, what's it like being 6-7-year-old playing in that field in your little village, and then coming out to a first team game, like just running out onto that pitch that first time to a proper game?
I think it was the Millwall game was when I was on the bus. Obviously, Leeds and Millwall, big rivalry. That both set of fans are amazing, and I was coming on the bus, and everyone was whacking the bus and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, it's real. So I don't know, when I was 16, 17 and playing 17, 18, in the first team, I was just playing football. I didn't check Twitter to see what people were saying about me or anything like that. I was just literally playing football, and it was just fun. At the time, there was a lot of younger players as well from the academy that were in and around it. So at one point during the season, there was like 6 or 7 of us playing, and it was just felt like part of the lads, we were just playing football like we've been doing all our lives, and just like I say, I feel very blessed.
Do you handle pressure pretty well then? Do you feel pressure? You know, like you said, that bus turned up. Yeah. So how do you kind of deal with that and not let it affect your game or your headspace?
It's a privilege, isn't it? I feel like pressure when I finish football, I'll probably miss without realising, because sometimes it's hard, man. At the start, it was a lot harder than now. I've got a lot better at it, but I still get butterflies before a game. Take a deep breath, you know what I mean? Got all the things. But if I didn't have a little bit of nerves before a game, I think there'd be something wrong. I think it helps you maintain your level and makes you concentrate, you know? So, yeah.
It's interesting hearing you say that, because I had a doctor on here as well, Dr. Karan Rajan. I probably butchered his name there, but he said that every time he's been an NHS surgeon for 10 years, he's actually just released a book on a tour, it's done really well, but he said every time he's like putting his scrubs on and washing his hands just before he's about to cut someone open, he says he still has, even after 10 years, has what you said, butterflies. But it's relative, right? It's actually relative. Like, forget what you guys are doing. The pressure's relative to each of us, right?
Yeah.
I might have pressure going into a meeting or a presentation to get some investor money in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As in, like, it's relative to what we do. But he said exactly the same thing. So it's interesting hearing it from a sport perspective. He said, like, the moment I don't get those butterflies anymore, it's probably dangerous for me to do the surgery.
Yeah.
Because it's keeping me, it's almost like 10 cups of coffee in one go.
Yeah.
Super alert. And
it's like a high though. Like, so you have the pressure and then it pays off and it's like a high and then you probably crash because of all the adrenaline and stuff. But yeah, it's part and part of football. And someone at football always says pressure is what you put in tyres. So probably doesn't feel it, you know. Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah. Pressure creates diamonds. I think the closest thing I've probably ever felt to that, because I've never done anything competitively, but I guess kind of training for something, say like London Marathon, training for that, then completing it, like 2 days after you feel amazing, and then day 3 to day 5, you're a bit like,
yeah, what now?
What now? Yeah, like sort of bit of a come down.
Yeah. The most nervous I'd probably been was the year we got promoted back to the Prem. We had a game against Forest at home.
I remember that game.
Yeah, I was nervous for that. Really nervous, like trying to sleep during the day, couldn't sleep. But then as soon as that whistle goes, it just goes and you're concentrating. People always tell me, like, what's the atmosphere like at games and stuff when it's really loud? You're so concentrated, you don't really take in your surroundings. Like, it's so strange because there's fans everywhere. You go to some stadiums where there's like 75,000 fans, like Man U. We went there and I just see the pitch. It's like I'm just playing football still. It's a strange experience when you think about it like that.
Yeah, it's amazing what the brain does, isn't it?
Yeah.
And do you find that, because I always speak to Billam about this, about hearing fans screaming or hearing his cornerman, and like, do you find there's certain voices that break through that though?
Yeah.
So if someone's shouting.
Yeah, gaffer or staff members or players and stuff. Definitely, I hear them, and the one I do hear from the fans is, say you're in a good position, you give the ball away. I hear that's the worst one to hear.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Or if you've missed
done it again,
missed a corner or something.
Yeah.
That's fucking mad.
So it's a crazy game,
bro. Playing for England is every young footballer's dream, right? But how do you make it a reality?
I don't know. I think. How do you make? It's a tough question. So, I think you just gotta, in anything, you just gotta back yourself. If you're in especially if you're in a football environment when you're playing professional football, especially if you're in the Premier League, your ambition should be to play for England. But as a young boy, you can't. It's everyone's dream, but you can't really. That can't be your first dream. It's got to be steps. You know, you get scouted, then you sign when you're 9 or whatever age, scholarship, professional contract, and then you've got to perform at your club level for a long period of time to get to the national team, because it's hard. And obviously when you're playing throughout the youth ages, I think that puts you in good stead for playing for England. You know?
Like a good pedigree, isn't it, almost?
I think so, yeah. It's kind of like you understand international football and tournaments and stuff like that. But
I mean, we've got the Euros coming up, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a little prediction from you. Let's have a little exclusive prediction. This won't go out for 5 weeks. So where will be 5? It'll be over. It'll be over before this goes out, actually.
Yeah.
This will probably go out. Oh no, the final's on Samfest Day. Yeah, this will probably go out the week of the final.
Samfest.
It's probably that week.
dropping it in there. Nice.
Yeah. It's the same day, annoyingly. Yeah, it happens every now and then. It's either Wimbledon or World Cup or Euros. The final either falls on Sampol or Samfest.
Yeah.
But we've got a screen ready.
Okay, that's
So
good.
basically, if England are in the final, it will be on the main screen and
That'd be good.
we will move the DJs around. But if England aren't in the final, we'll still show it on a big screen in the marquee, but the music will carry on as it is, basically.
Yeah, I think.
What do you reckon?
I think England will be in the final.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
You heard it here first, people.
Yeah, I do. I think they will.
Good team this year.
Yeah, good team, very good team. Obviously, a lot of players to pick from. A lot of players missed out, but overall, solid team. I think England are good in international football. They manage the games well and stuff, and they've got the forward players who are incredible, so they can win games. But yeah, I think they'll be in the final, and
Cool.
yeah, it'll be good, huh?
Will be good. Will be good. I remember what did we show at Halo? I think it must have been the World Cup. Yeah. It was a World Cup. It was
carnage,
mad.
innit?
Mad, mate. And I remember, I'll never forget, it was England versus Wales on one of the games. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
And there was one Welsh dude in the club on the dance floor and the whole fucking club was full of English.
Fair play to him.
And he was like giving it back and they were giving it to him, all like friendly
Yeah,
banter, but it kind of helped the kind of mood a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was mad coming on his own.
Yeah,
The flag on and everything. Bro, let's touch on injuries. Doom, doom, doom. So you've had two kind of big knee injuries. I've got it down here as 2018 and 2021. I know you said earlier you couldn't remember the exact kind of years, but how do you cope with them? How do you cope with injuries? I mean, there's obviously a physical side, right? But how do you deal with the mental side of kind of not playing, the recovery, everything else that comes along with it?
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you in past interviews, I did a documentary on it as well, and I feel like I was honest, but I wasn't fully honest. So sometimes I come across like, oh, I've got an unbelievable mentality. It's like it was easy, it was fine. I just cracked on with it, but it's hard, There's times when you want to stop. There's times when you feel like you can't carry on. But I go back to my upbringing. I think that's a big part of it. You're grateful for what you have, and when I've been injured, you just got to try and become the best injured person you are. Maybe it's the competitive side. Like, I'm competitive when I'm playing football. If I'm competitive, if I'm doing pull-ups in the gym, or I'm competitive if I want to come back better than I was before, or if I want to get back at a certain time frame, I want to beat that time frame and stuff like that. So maybe that helped me a little bit to try and push on, but it's difficult.
Obviously, 2018 was the first big one, right? Well, let's say that's the year. It might be out slightly. That's the first one. So that one, I would imagine, is a bit more of an unknown. So you sort of have your injury. You're a bit like rabbit and deer headlights, and you're following the process of this recovery. Then you recover. And then 3 years later, it kind of happens again. The second time, did that hit you harder? Was there any point where you thought, my fucking career's done here?
No, I don't think so. Obviously,
Okay.
The first time was more scary. I didn't know what to expect, how I was going to feel, if I was going to ever get back to the same player as I was. There's a lot of stats on them kind of injuries and things, and you can get back, but it's difficult. But the second time, when it happened, I was in a bad way on the pitch, just because I knew straight away what I'd done. So I was really upset on the pitch. Stood up, walked off. Because the first time I did it, I played on for the rest of the game. Didn't know I'd done anything until a couple of days later when it was sore and I got a scan. But the second time, I knew straight away, so I was in a bit of a mess. And I don't know what it was, but I stood up after I was on the pitch, walked into the changing room. I had that period on the pitch where I was upset, but then when I was in the changing room, I was like, got my phone out. I think I've said it before on an interview. Just got my phone out, and I don't know why I did it. I went in my calendar and just went down to 7 months, I think. I was 9 months on the first one, and I just clicked a date, and when I wanted to come back. This was before I even knew what I'd done, and I clicked the date, and I was a week off that date that I chose, which was 2 months quicker than the first time. So it's crazy when I think about it like that. But
that is mad.
It is mad.
So you're like manifesting almost.
Yeah, like I'm in the changing room. I've got the game ready on, the physio's saying, "Oh, just wait, you'll be okay." I was like, "No, I've done." Loretta's on the phone, just crying on the phone. I'm like, "No, I'll be all right." And then just put it on my calendar and didn't tell the staff what day it was, and it was a week out. Didn't let me play, did they?
Fuck.
But yeah.
Do you was that hard hearing her upset?
Yeah, that was the hardest bit. I feel like there was one point when I was both injuries. I think I had one day where I cried, and she just said, "Stop, you'll get through it" and stuff. And then after that, I was kind of on it, and she was as well, helping me all the time and things. But yeah, hearing loved ones upset, that's the worst thing, especially the ones you love.
It's also beautiful to hear that. I always find like the best support you get is when one's struggling, the other one has to be strong, even if it's a front.
Yeah.
And then when that one's struggling, you can be strong.
Yeah, if you both struggle,
I feel
problems.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I might get shot for saying that, but I just feel like if she's upset, you need to be the one going, "It's okay, we're going to get through it." Yeah. And because let her have that space to kind of be upset, and then you can be upset, and she gives you that space, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, I think that's how a relationship works. You want to try and be there for each other when you're struggling and stuff. So Loretta was amazing, like I've said before, and getting up in the middle of the night and putting the ice back in the machine and stuff, constantly helped me shower at the start, just doing everything, to be honest. So yeah,
she seems amazing, mate. Even from what I see with like Oscar at the coffee shop and that, like nothing. She's got fucking 2 dogs, the baby, round the coffees, like this little superwoman.
As long as she's got the coffee, she's fine, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you looking back at your whole life, bro. I mean, do you suffer with, like, do you struggle with things in your head? Do you have dark days? Do you have times where things get a little bit weird in there?
Definitely, I think everyone does. Obviously, there's times in my career where, like I think I touched on, I was overthinking everything, every part of my life, to make sure I'm doing everything right to play football. And I think I took the shackles off, kind of thing, and just enjoyed my football, and things started being a lot better. So there's going to be parts of most people's business, their career paths or family life and stuff where you're going to go ups and downs, but just try and keep a level-headedness, never get too high, never get too low. But it's hard, especially in football. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of what people think about you, fans, players.
Ruthless, isn't it?
Yeah, you always compare yourself with everyone else, especially with social media. It's tough, but I've figured out a way to be a lot better with it, definitely.
I think that with any sport, like, you can't really win, can you? You're winning, you get something moaned at. You're losing, you get something moaned at. Like,
it's a roller coaster.
It's fucking
so many ups and downs. Like 1 minute you'd be here, and then 2 minutes later you'd be rock at bottom. It's crazy.
Would you say that one of those injuries was the darkest point in your life? You thought back now, or is there something else?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything else. Obviously, it's so hard. Like the pain at the start, and your knees just like this, and you know how long the road is to get back. And I don't see it as a dark point. Like I wouldn't say I'm glad it happened, because obviously I'm not, but it's definitely helped me as a person to kind of be grateful, like I say, and especially before Oscar came along. But I don't think it was an incredibly dark time. It was, at some point I really enjoyed it. Like I went to some amazing places for rehab, and kind of just got your grind on, you know what I mean, to get back. And it's good if you think about it like that.
I rate that mentality though.
Yeah,
really.
I would say the worst point was it was Christmas time. My knee wasn't like, I was trying to do my bending, because at the time it bends like nothing.
Yeah.
And I just burst into tears, like done with it. I don't know if it was the tablets I was on or whatever.
Listen, don't blame the tablets, all right? If you're feeling a bit upset, it's all right. Yeah. Okay, we're friends here.
But yeah, overall, I think it was
Any point you thought, I'm sacking this in, I'm done?
No, definitely not. I think
that's too competitive, you are, aren't you?
Yeah. And I don't get how you could do that. I'm in such a privileged position where I am playing the best league in the world, and fortunately earning money where you can help your family. So it's it's a non-negotiable, to be honest. Just carry on.
Bro, moving on we'll touch a bit on AFC B. Big B town, our town. My town, your town.
Your town.
Well, it's not neither of our towns, really.
Not.
Not historically, but it is now. Obviously, under new ownership from across the pond, the United States. One of them being quite a celebrity name, Michael B. Jordan, obviously Bill Foley. Have you seen much difference in how the club is run since those guys have taken over at your level, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like obviously the ownership come over quite a lot, and first of all, they're really, really nice people. Mm-hmm. And I think if you need anything, they'll help you and stuff. And I've just seen little things just around the stadium, the training grounds obviously getting built, and it just feels like there's more like an upward trajectory kind of thing, you know. Lots of stuff going on. The players we're bringing in are top players. And yeah, it's just exciting, to be honest. But I think overall it's just a bit more energy in and around the club, and yeah, a bit more enthusiasm, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, that new training ground, you're right, is being built and it's looking to be open this year. Yeah? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not the one who's going to say that when it is, because I don't know when it is, but hopefully this year would be amazing.
You think that'll make a big difference to you guys? New training ground?
Yeah, I think sometimes now maybe you can come in and get off quite early maybe, but if you're at a place where the facilities are top, you're going to probably stay around and do that extra bit of gym maybe, or do you know what I mean?
Even from an excitement point of view, isn't it? Like something new.
Yeah, I've been there for like 9 years nearly now, and I think at the start when I first joined it was, we're going to build a new training ground, and I was like, oh, nice. But now it's actually happening. It's exciting for everyone, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that for years as well. And new stadium I've heard for years and years.
That'd be cool.
Anything in that? Any chatter about that or not from your
No, not really. But I think obviously it's always in the club's ambition to do that. So I think that'd be nice.
if you guys carry on kind of performing as you are, the fan base is only going to grow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the hard thing. I think in football, consistency is definitely the hardest thing. So we've got to try and do that as a team and keep progressing as a club.
You know when I first realised, I guess, how big influence Premier League football has globally. When I go back to Turkey to see my family, for fucking years we'd have to describe where Bournemouth is.
Really?
We'd have to go. We actually used to say, London, yeah, we're about 2 hours towards the sea.
Really?
Till you got into the Prem.
Really, yeah.
Well, and then all of a sudden, like anywhere I go, everyone knows Bournemouth now.
Oh, that's good, because
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Whether that's in Ibiza, in Portugal, like normally you would, unless they've been to the UK or understand the geography, you don't know. Why would you know a little town? Yeah. It's just like me going to you. Do you know this town?
Do you know Scarborough?
No.
That team operator, that's the coastal side.
But I don't know half the towns in the UK, let alone abroad somewhere.
But that's good, isn't it? I think it's a great place to live, and hopefully it can continue to get a bit better everywhere and things, and the Premier League brings that.
No, this is a good one, but I obviously I've got loads of mates that are fucking diehard Cherries fans. Yeah, they come to every game. They're like part of the little ultra crew that go to every away game as well. He's everywhere, especially one of them. But they've all said to me that they want you to be captain.
Me.
What do you say to that?
I don't know. I don't know how. I think we should have a group of loads of captains.
Really?
Yeah, I think everyone should be give something to the team, but to have a specific captain, I don't know if it's as big as it used to be.
Oh, really?
Obviously, that's an amazing honour, and I think whoever gets that they feel the honour. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. When I was a kid, I was never really a captain because, like I say, I was always that little bit too angry. The referee comes to you and wants to talk to you about the game and stuff, and you're screaming at him. It's probably not the best thing, but you never know. Maybe in the future. It might be a thing. Obviously done it with England, the World Cup, and
that's sick.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. So,
does it give you any power when you put that armband on?
You do. You run a little bit more. I don't want to say it, but you do. Like,
do you?
You feel a little bit more bigger, because I'm not the tallest. So
6'1" all of a sudden with an armband on.
Maybe it's just the weight of the pressure of it,
Yeah. Whenever I go out with like footballer friends, that's always like the banter. If we're deciding what restaurant to go for, you probably know it more than me. They're like, right, you've got the armband, it's your decision where we're going.
You got the pressure,
and you feel that pressure straight away anyway. But I can only imagine what it must be like putting it on.
Yeah,
arm probably feels massive, doesn't it?
Well, mine's not the biggest, but
it's not bad, mate, for a baller.
Yeah,
you boys don't really do upper body, do you?
We do quite a bit, to be fair.
Do you?
Yeah, it's more of like a recovery, after a game.
Not like bench pressing shit, no.
A little bit,
yeah. But I guess strength training you would do, wouldn't you? Strength and conditioning,
not loads.
Bit of bicep curls for your t-shirts.
Yeah.
What's kind of the future hold for you? What's a long-term goal in the sport?
Next
or
5
in general?
years.
Yeah, next 5 years. I guess not next 5 years is, yeah.
Next 5 years.
I mean, you've got a couple more years left at Bournemouth under this contract.
I don't know. I just want to obviously just keep improving as a player and a person. I think obviously we've got the new manager in now and he's done really well. So I'm just keep learning from him and as a club, I think hopefully that we continue to improve and progress. And I think if I can stay around, that would be amazing. So yeah, I just want to keep learning and try and maybe just keep consistent because, like I say, consistency is definitely the hardest. And if you can keep consistent, then hopefully we can really do well.
Yeah, I guess that also. Well, one, you're quite young, right? So you've got some years in you yet. I mean, what's like the average age where you think a footballer would start to 35?
Yeah, I'd say 35. If I say that, I think I'm going to start doing that at 38 and put me in good stead.
You know, like there's always
they say
not
prime,
a lifespan, but like a prime.
Yeah.
As we get older, naturally, your body can't always perform.
Yeah.
You get a few freaks out there, but they don't always perform. You can't always perform, can you, at that high level? It's got to be a dip off. Statistically, what is it, like 35, 40?
Yeah. No, like earlier than that.
Yeah.
He's kind of going, they say you're going to your prime towards the end of your 20s, early 30s, but like you say, I played Chelsea last game and played against Thiago Silva as his final game and he's 39 and he was really good, really good. And I was marking him on corners and he's to do that at 39 is quite impressive. So I think the age is getting longer and longer as you can play. Obviously, if you're a keeper, you can play a lot longer, but especially Premier League now, though, it's physically very demanding. It's the high speed running and the overall distance covered is just getting crazier and crazier. You see a lot of injuries now because there's so many games and physically it's very, very demanding. That's the one difference I would say between the Championship and the Premier League is every player you play against has one physical attribute that is top. Really? So, that was... It's the game's changing.
We've also had so much advancements, haven't we, in technological advancements. Like, you're right. We're all living longer for a start. People, if we look at it from all aspects of life, people are generally, getting married later. If you look at statistics, having kids later than we'd ever been able to have before. So they're probably playing high level sport later, longer. Nutrition's better. Science is, everything's a bit more advanced. I speak to Paul Gascoigne when I see him, Gazza. He had a pint before going onto the pitch. Like I speak to some of you boys now and you barely drink. It's like a whole different, everyone's actual athletes now, aren't they? Whereas before, when I'm talking like 20, 30 years ago, they maybe didn't take it as seriously. You'd know better than me, but.
Yeah, I think, the league is just crazy. Obviously there's a lot of money in the league now and clubs have a lot of money. So there'll be a player in the world somewhere and you'll never heard of, and they come to the Premier League and they're just so strong or so quick and
mad.
Yeah,
and people must spend their whole life. You've seen the Ronaldo documentary, but from a young age, parents must like prepare their kids almost to try and get them into a sport, right?
Yeah, definitely now. Definitely, I think because there's so much stuff to be gained from playing at elite level in lots of different sports. They kind of cater to them at such a young age, like I say 6, 7.
Mad.
We're doing all sorts. We're doing squat jumps at 6 or something.
Yeah, that is mad. I mean, there's always a common concern with athletes, isn't there, that after they retire, they kind of lose that sense of purpose. A lot of them that I've spoken to. Do you ever think about what you'll do when you retire from football?
Yeah, it's hard, because obviously I'm 27 now, but you never know. It can fly like I was 17. I felt like I was 17 last week, so it's going to fly by, but I'm not too sure. I feel like as long as I've got a routine, I'd like to keep a routine up. Obviously, make sure I'm gymming and stuff, and maybe some sea dipping. Like you said.
You still dipping? No.
No, I'm not. No.
Bottled.
Maybe a bit. I might start in the.
You can't sit here for 2 hours talking about consistency and then stop it.
Yeah, no. Obviously, I'm doing my coaching badges now, so you never know. That might be an option.
Would you say that's quite a natural progression for kind of an ex-player to go into a coaching kind of environment?
Yeah, I think so.
Within the sport still? Yeah,
I'd like to stay in and around the sport in some capacity, but obviously I've got an opportunity to do my coaching badges while I'm playing, and so I think I'll just take that opportunity to get them done and you never know. If I feel like I want to be a coach, then that might be an option. But
Yeah.
I don't know yet. It's hard because
What if some like mad foreign team come along when later in life and offered you?
Mulder.
Yeah, like not now, but like say in 5-10 years, and you're at a point where you're like, oh, I could chill now and just be a coach. But they're giving you a 3-5 year contract, good money to play, but you've got to move away far.
I think it depends where your kids are at, you know. Never say never. Obviously, if you've got an opportunity to go experience something new and it's a good project, a lot of people do. Towards the end, they go America or places like that. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. More on
America's
that.
cool. But I don't know. I'm just loving Bournemouth at the moment. I feel like obviously Premier League, best league in the world in my opinion, and the club's doing well at the moment. So I think I'll just see how long I can stay here for and keep
Great
working
place to live in.
It is. It's really nice.
Really nice. I mean, especially when it's sunny. Like I wouldn't even book. You don't even need to go abroad really.
Yeah.
When the weather's good, it's just never good.
No, I know. Yeah. No, it is. We have like one day and then randomly we
Yeah. What about outside of football, bro? What's like?
I don't have time now, mate. With the little one, I think I'm just.
Is that just concentrating on that?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so I'll be going all sorts with him, trying to do as much as I can, take him swimming, soft play, go for walks and things. But otherwise than that, not much. Obviously, just normal. Couple of series now and again when we get time. Like going for dinners and things, but
adult
normal,
life now.
Quite relaxed, quite simple.
Yeah,
coffee shop, stuff like that. To be honest.
Yeah, there's something about that simple life, isn't there? Because if you think about it, we work all of our lives to retire. And when we retire, we want those simple things. But actually, if you could live like that now, just with those simple things, then you're not sort of then yearning for, oh, I can't wait to retire. You're living in your happy place almost.
Yeah. It's a fine balance. You've got to balance, especially football at the elite level with the pressures and things. You got to balance it, and you got to kind of just switch off sometimes, you know. And just, like I say, the simple things can help you do that.
Bro, is there one particular player, past, present, whatever, that you would say has influenced you? One particular player that's like your all-time.
Yeah, so when I was younger, like I used to, not younger, when I was like 19, 20, I used to always get the question like, who's your idol, who's your role model, as in player-wise, and I used to say the Steven Gerrards and stuff like that. Obviously amazing players, but when I really think about it, I'd probably say like no one. It's such a strange thing to say because obviously I watched football as a kid and there was with Beckham at the time and stuff like that, but I just loved playing it. And I feel like I didn't really base myself on anyone else. I just wanted to play football. So answer to your question, I'd probably say no one really.
Yeah. And it goes in phases, doesn't it? So there's the Beckham era, then there's the...
Yeah.
You can't always... Yeah.
No, it's a strange one.
I don't know if, sometimes you speak to like a musician, like Chris Brown will say he's watched Michael Jackson his whole life. Yeah. And you can loosely see that actually in his dancing and the way he tries to make music. So I didn't know if there was like one player where you thought, oh, I love the way he did X and I tried to make my version of it. Do you know what I mean?
Not really. I liked Roy Keane at the time when he was, the way he used to run around and just, put his body on the line and smash people, to be honest. But
there's a little angry man coming out again there.
Yeah, probably similarities to him. But yeah, overall, just no one really. I just played football and kind of
fair
happened.
play, mate.
Yeah,
fair play.
It sounds strange saying it, but yeah,
no, it makes sense. I think.
Yeah,
makes sense. It's also a bit of a funny question, isn't it? It is a question you get a lot as a footballer. Who's been your idol growing up? Same with boxing, but like
never really know how to answer it.
Yeah, do you have to have an idol? Like, as in, you just do your own thing. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. Obviously, you have influences like the way people play. I've got the players that I look to now and try and base my game on, but take little bits from them. But overall, it's not like a single person. I would say no.
Just development, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
That's it then, big dog. You got a nice season off. Season's finished now. Nice summer off.
Yeah.
When are you back in?
6th
of June.
July. June. That's like next week, mate.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah, 6th of July.
6th of July.
So yeah, I'll go away.
6 weeks.
Yeah, have a couple of weeks rest and then start ticking over again.
Will you literally stop for 2 weeks now, training wise? Or will you still do the old run?
I don't know. I like doing when last pre-season I was off season, I was doing a few like hit sessions and stuff. Something different.
Yeah.
I quite like them.
I can imagine with you, like, it's ingrained in you, like sitting on a sofa for 2 weeks. I can't imagine you,
I
you
can't
do well.
When I go on holiday, I can't sunbathe. I've always got to be doing something. So be in the pool, in the sea, or something like that. So
Yeah,
always busy, you know.
fair play, mate. Well, have a good break. Appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you, mate.
Thanks,
Thanks
bro.
for having us.